All right, guys. So all my desk warriors, all my repetitive sport athletes that run, that swim, even my power lifters, my Olympic lifters, all of you, if you spend more time in your repetitive movement pattern, okay, so if you're a runner and you love to run, that's what you love to do. If you spend a lot of time in that pattern where you're overusing your calves, overusing your hip flexors, your quads, probably your back because you're hunched over like this, and you're not able to access your abs properly because you've developed these faulty movement patterns over time, of course, you're going to have dysfunction, you're going to have pain, you're going to have joint problems. And if you haven't spent a day in your life doing any sort of cross training, any sort of strength training to bring up those lagging body parts like your glutes, like your hamstrings, like your midline, like your entire posterior chain, of course you're going to have problems. You become a much better runner if you just spend a little more time mobilizing, spending time strength training, at least 2 to 3 times a week minimum. Back off when you're running a little bit, and you'll be surprised how much better you get at running. Go figure. The same thing goes for you desk warriors out there. If you spend 4 to 5 hours on a desk, and then you expect to come into the gym and deadlift 500 pounds, or squat a bunch of weight, or be able to get into the positions that you desire in the weight room, in life, guess what? You're shooting yourself in the foot because you can't. The amount of time you're spending in that seated position is way greater than the amount of time you're spending in the positions that you desire. So of course, what's going to win? Of course, the seated position, right? You're literally training your body to lock down your tissues. Your hips lock down, they get overly tight. Your back gets undue stresses put on it from over hunching. Our neck, our traps begin to get all sorts of dysfunction and pain. We can't breathe properly because our ribs are locked down. We have no access to our diaphragm or our cores. So of course, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be able to move in the right way for your desired movement. Okay? The same goes with swimmers. The same goes for Olympic lifters. If you spend more time in this one movement over and over and over, you're going to have problems. And what's worse, if you spend a bunch of time training, whatever you want to train in the gym or life or your sport, and then you go sit for like 5 or 6 hours in a chair, that is the worst thing you can do. It is the worst thing you can do. You're probably going to hurt yourself even more. Because again, you've done all this hard work, you've gone kind of stiff, and all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a more stiff position. Again, you're training your body to be tight and locked down. So you have to move, y'all. You have to move in several different ways. If you've developed chronic conditions like sciatica, fasciitis of your foot, knee issues, joint issues, it's more often than not a product of you overusing muscle groups, underusing other muscle groups, or not mobilizing properly after a long bout of training, or overdoing a movement pattern like you fall in love with deadlifts, or you fall in love with squats, or you fall in love with bench press, and that's all you do, okay? Without doing anything else to balance your training, of course you're going to hurt yourself. So you have to move in several dynamic movement patterns that support you as a human being. You were meant and you were designed for that. You weren't designed to just do one thing. That's not inherent in your design. So embrace that. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you get away from pain and you move more into resiliency. Resiliency is so important, especially if you want to do the things you'd like to do for the rest of your life. Like go travel the world, like go help people, be there for your family, do your sport over and over and over, be competitive in your sport, be able to go about life with the utmost freedom, knowing that you're not going to hurt yourself. This is key. This is inherent in your design. Embrace that. And that doesn't mean you just spend 2 minutes mobilizing in your squat, or you spend like 30 seconds doing a stretch. It means that you really spend a lot of time creating change. 2 minutes is the minimum you spend in your mobility. If anything, you should spend like 20 to 30 minutes doing mobility work, or as much as possible. Whenever you get a chance, Engineer a way to get your mobility work in. If you're at work, create a way you can have a squat desk. Squat against the wall, squat against the stability ball, and bring your desk down to squat level. If you are waking up in the morning, the first thing you do as you brush your teeth is squat. Okay? If you're watching TV, do a hip flexor stretch on your couch. If you are reading a book, do a pigeon stretch while you're reading a book. If you are on the phone with somebody, pick some sort of movement you can do to open up. If you know your shoulders are tight, then grab a band and do a banded shoulder stretch. Do something. Find a way to get it in. You're worth that. Your body is worth that. You're going to be much more grateful to yourself if you do these things for yourself. You owe you. Peace.